But I got to ask you, how did you get hooked up with Joe Rogan in the first place? He says you are his go-to guy for international politics. How did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he ran out of all the other go-to guys. Yeah, it was interesting. It was a long time ago, right? And I just got a call from him at one point. I think I'd been doing some work on TV, and I forget what the topic was that he might have seen. We never really actually talked about how that all came together. But he said, "Would you be willing to come down?" And at that time, he was in California. It was before he moved out to Texas, and come down and do the show. And it was great. Look, I can't say enough good things about the guy. He's incredibly curious about everything. He's funnier now. He's generous. He's just a solid dude that you enjoy hanging out with, which is a good thing because, as people know, his podcast is hours long, right? It runs for 3 hours or more, and but it's one of those conversations you can have. It just keeps flowing. He asks very smart questions. He's read up on everything. I've never watched any of his podcasts where he's been just lacking for something to talk about or ask about. And the great thing is he also asks us these very short questions, which I think used to be the thing, right? In journalism and in interview, you'd say what, how, why, how come, right? And you've experienced the same thing, right? You and I go in for an interview, and whoever's interviewing you asks a question that runs for 3.5 minutes, and you go, "Well, I'm sorry, the segment's only 4 minutes long, so I've got to answer. How do we solve the problems in the Middle East?" So yeah. Anyway, I not to bang on about it, but just an incredibly solid guy.
No, that's awesome. And it seems like his characteristic that works most here is his curiosity, right? Super curious about the way things are going and why.
Yeah. And I think you can't fake that, right? I mean, I run a company that does intelligence and security services, right, around the globe, and we've got offices in a lot of different places. And we're always talking about this. How do you hire for this sort of business, right? We're digging up information. We're gathering intelligence on a variety of things. It could be a very pedestrian issue. It could be something, that's critically important to whomever we're working on behalf of. And the answer is you can hire people who have got multiple degrees and speak several languages, and we look for those people. But at the end of the day, what we really want are curious people, right, who don't settle for the first answer. They get that first answer. They're out there eliciting information. They've identified, okay, look, I found somebody who might know what we're talking about here. They may have a reason to talk to me about it. I'm going to get in touch with them somehow, whatever that means is. And then I'm going to ask them questions. And I'm not going to settle for the first thing they tell me because I'm curious. And that's one of those qualities that we tend to look for all the time, but can be difficult to find. Just somebody who's inquisitive, curious, always ask the next question.